it back to my life, girl. You need to bring it back to my life.
This is gonna be fun. I have been anticipating the very day that I would be able to talk about Lil Yachty and one of his projects. And this is that day, so I'm excited. Yeah. If you're not in the loop, Lil Yachty, also known as Lil Boat, is a rapper, an auto-tuned crooner, specializing in trap-flavored cloud rap tunes with a lot of auto-tuned on the rapping and the singing. And usually this kind of appeals to a certain niche, maybe the SoundCloud rap sort of stuff. But on a more serious note, it seems that his style of rap and his sound, often referred to as mumble rap, other artists often put under this umbrella are Future and Lil Uzi, along with various others. I'm not personally a fan, so I'm not too much of an expert on it. However, Lil Yachty has caught my interest. This sound has become quite prominent in the mainstream hip-hop scene, to the dismay of a lot of hip-hop listeners. Common criticisms of artists like Lil Yachty, but Lil Yachty specifically, have been that he represents everything wrong with modern hip-hop. He is an artist that does not deserve to be considered a rapper or to be a hip-hop artist, as well as criticisms of his music as well. Maybe they just don't like the sound of his music, maybe they think his lyrics are crap. There are a lot of reasons why people seem to not enjoy Lil Yachty's music, and personally I've never been a fan either, but I've personally always thought, even if I don't like his music, I can put that aside and say, I think people are just taking Lil Yachty way too seriously. I think the hip-hop scene needs a Lil Yachty, and I really do think that. I'm being serious. I'm being flippin' serious. What's wrong with some guy just wanting to be a little goofier than most, wanting to be a little more, you know, just having fun? Even if he doesn't exactly have a sound that's always sounded good to me, I've never been a fan of his auto-tuned ballad sort of stuff, crooning over the Super Mario 64 file select theme, you know that stuff. But I've always appreciated the fact that he's just out there having fun. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's fine. A lot of people may have seen that Joe Budden conversation with Complex. He kind of made his problems clear about Lil Yachty to Lil Yachty. And I'm not going to say that Joe Budden was in the wrong or the right during this conversation, but I just found it really interesting because obviously it's funny to see Joe Budden get so tilted by the very fact that Lil Yachty is openly saying that his influences are figures like Lil B. I think it's because artists like Joe Budden built their hip-hop career in an era when artists like Lil Yachty wouldn't have had a chance. If you were to kind of be the clowny, messy, roundy kind of figure that Lil Yachty is, then I wouldn't think that you would have had as much of a chance of getting big as you would nowadays, because with the internet age you kind of have the whole viral aspect. Basically any artist can put their stuff out there and find a crowd that would like it. And that's why Lil Yachty has been able to gain the buzz that he has, because of the internet age and because of viral videos and such, especially with music videos like One Night and you know, there's definitely a difference between hip-hop that's trying to be artful and kind of lyrical, but I also appreciate the fact that there is hip-hop that wants to be a little more fun and just entertaining. Even if I'm not always on board with this kind of stuff, I actually was able to approach this new project of his, Teenage Emotions, with a relatively open mind. I actually think Lil Yachty has the ability to create something genuinely great. However, going into Teenage Emotions, I came out of it feeling like this wasn't that album. Even with everything I've said about defending Lil Yachty's stance as an artist in this decade, I did not like this album. Full stop. And believe me, I wanted to like this album. I wanted Lil Yachty to release an album that I enjoyed, so I could just say, Lil Yachty made a classic. He made a good album. Take that. There are a lot of tracks here that are quite colourful, kind of have the vibrance that you might expect from Lil Yachty.
Harley, 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 riding like a Harley, 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 Harley.
There are just so little of them on this massive album that spans, if I remember correctly, like 21 tracks. This album goes on for 1 hour and 9 minutes. It has so many songs that I could easily just classify as filler. And I mean that because so many of these songs sound the exact same. Kind of this cloudy, auto-tuned ballad stuff with some trap beats. Some of them sound nicer than others, some of them have stronger melodies than others, but the majority of them are not going to be anywhere as memorable as, you know, some of the stuff on Lil Boat, or even summer songs too. It seems like Yachty's just overplaying the very basis of his own style, without kind of venturing out and doing anything overly fresh with it. It's kind of just treading water. I feel like there's just so much that tried to be crammed into this one album, or just generally doesn't sound good. And I think a lot of that is just down to the use of autotune on this thing. I've never always thought that Yachty's crooning sounded that great. There are just plenty of moments here that just... no. There was a song, Bring It Back, that had this very bright, vibrant 80s pop kind of feel to it. I actually thought it had a lot of potential as a single, but the problem is the vocals. They sound horribly mixed. They just sound so washed out. I can't exactly explain it. I'm just gonna have to play you a clip and just play to you how awful the vocals sound.
They just mad cause we be gone. Bring it back, you love it. You been gone for you need to bring it back. You been gone for too long.
There are even some tracks here where Yachty tries to have this intimidating, hard, dark ethos to the song, and it just doesn't work because Yachty has always established himself as a goofy rapper. It's kind of then hard to listen to the track and think, oh, I'm so scared. And you might notice that I'm not really talking about his lyrics, because I think we're all aware at this point that Yachty lyrics are just purposefully silly and ridiculous. Though that will not stop me from mentioning some and criticizing some, because some of them do step over the line in terms of what the hell is this? You know, listen to a silly lyric from Yachty and you kind of think, huh, that's actually pretty funny. That's so whimsical that I actually found that quite entertaining. Well done, both. On the track Priorities, there's this one line. And don't get me wrong, Priorities had actually had a nice melody when Yachty was singing the verses, but the verse itself kind of says, this pretty messed up kind of bit. Something about incest with your stepsister? What? Why? I really just don't think this album was great in its sound. I think it's bloated. Even for Yachty standards, it's incredibly vapid. Like parts of my face, this album deserved to be at least a little bit shaved. I mean, good on Boat for putting this album out there without any shame, without any worries, kind of saying, this is for the people who like to listen to me, I know not everyone's gonna like it. You know, good on him for being self-aware, and good on him for just having fun and just wanting to be himself. I appreciate that a lot, but I just don't like this album. I'm gonna give Teenage Emotions a 3 out of 10.